So welcome to
Science
with Sarah and
Dad.
today we are going to make slime, but how many different ways?
3.
3 different ways. So first let's talk about something very important.
So rules about this is you have to do science experiments with a grown-up
And we have lots of ingredients in front of us, and the important thing while we're using ingredients
is don't put them in your mouth.
That's
Unless
right.
the adult says you can.
Right. Because it's really important to be careful of different chemicals and ingredients here because some can make you very sick. So this should always be done with an adult. So are you ready to get started for the first slime?
Yeah!
All right. So the first slime we are going to make is called a simple slime. And this is actually going to be an experiment using chemistry. Do you know what chemistry is?
No, what is it?
Chemistry is mixing different chemicals to create something else.
What do we have here?
So the ingredients we have here are, this is just plain old water.
Yeah.
What do you think this is?
Milk?
Close, it looks like milk. This is actually just regular school glue. Just regular white glue. And then what's this?
Food coloring,
Food
and we have
coloring.
sticks.
We have some sticks for stirring. And this last ingredient is the one that's dangerous. It's a chemical known as a product called borax. And it's a chemical that can be very dangerous if you swallow it, toxic. So we don't want to put it in our mouth at all. And we definitely want to make sure that we wash our hands when we're done with this, right? Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is let's mix the water into the glue.
Into glue?
Yep. So we're putting water in the glue and we're going to see what happens.
Do not do this alone. Oh, and I'm still here.
This is Hannah, our camera person.
Hello again.
So let's take this and we're going to take our stick and let's start stirring it around.
Okay. It's cool.
So basically, not much is happening other than the glue is just getting very watery, right?
Yeah.
So let's stir this around a
But
little
what's
bit
next?
more. We got to get this nice and mixed up. And now we have very, very watery glue. That doesn't really
Blech.
do anything. Look, if we pull this up, nothing's really happening, right?
It just looks like normal glue that's very watery.
But for the fun of it, let's put a couple drops of food coloring.
How many
in. You wanna
drops?
help? Let's put maybe just 2. I don't
For
think we need
now.
a lot.
And then last video we did 4.
Yeah.
That was just for, because we were making it really colorful.
Okay, that looks good. You want to stir that up a little bit?
Ooh, pretty.
That's a nice, pretty green, huh?
Yeah, that is.
It's almost like we're getting ready for St. Patrick's Day.
I like how bold it is.
All right, so now, this is where the magic is gonna happen. We are gonna mix the 2 chemicals. So basically, inside of the glue is a polymer. A polymer is kind of like a plastic.
Plastic.
But the chemical in borax is gonna mix with the polymer and it's gonna make all of those plastics really come together, and that's what makes it become a slime. So
Gooey.
how about you start stirring this and while I start
But
pouring
what's
this in.
borax again?
The chemical? I don't remember. Let's see. The chemical is called sodium tetraborate.
That's a very long word.
Yeah, sodium tetraborate. That's the
long word.
chemical that's in here.
That's a
So
long
while you're stirring, I'm going to start pouring. Slowly pour this in, and the slime is going to start being made pretty quickly. Look, it's starting to turn into slime.
Yeah, really. Oh,
Ooh,
Sarah,
careful,
Sarah,
careful.
not
It's
too.
just
Look at that.
Oh, wow.
Look, do you see how it's already becoming slime?
That looks so weird.
So let's
It's
keep
coming
stirring.
slime.
I try not to get it out of the bowl. It's a really low bowl.
Look at this.
FYI, kids, do not do this at home without an adult.
That's
That's
a
what we
very
said during
important
the
thing.
Sarah, that's what we said in the first video, but I guess it could be like a reminder.
It's always a good reminder to talk about safety
Yeah.
because safety is very, very important when it comes to science.
This looks so weird.
Yep, it's coming together. It's still a little liquidy. We're almost there.
Okay.
And pretty soon we can start playing with it and see, because after we're done making all 3, you're going to tell me which one your favorite slime is, okay?
Maybe we can like.
Okay, let's see here. Let's see if I can start making this all come together. Let's move some of this stuff out of the way.
Don't forget to roll up your sleeves if you have long sleeves on.
You don't want to get
A
those
good
super cool clothes all dirty, huh?
a good spot to stop is by your elbow, because normally stuff won't get up
Or you
there.
can go higher if you.
All right, look, so we pretty much have slime now. Let me get this mixed up just a little bit more, and then you can play with it, okay?
That looks very weird. That looks like a very weird consistency.
Yeah. All right, what do you think? You want to try it?
That looks like a really weird consistency.
Yeah, it feels weird.
Can I touch it?
Yeah, come on over and touch it. So it's already started reacting and started making like a plastic.
Right, this is like a weird texture.
Yeah. And the longer it sits, the more it's gonna turn into like a putty, almost
Putty?
like a Play-Doh kind of thing.
Oh, I love putty and Play-Doh. They're
Yeah.
one of my favorite things.
Look at that.
slimy.
It has a pretty cool feel to it, huh?
Yeah, it does.
So can you believe this was glue and water and a chemical
It has a
Protective
very
chemical.
called
Has a
sodium tetraborate?
very long
After you're
name.
done making this,
I'm gonna
after you're done making this, kids, make sure to wash your hands.
Absolutely. We're gonna go do that in just a second.
This feels
But when
really
you're
weird.
not playing with this, the best thing to do is to store it in
A plastic.
a plastic bag so it doesn't dry out. But you definitely want to make sure that you only play with it when an adult is around, because again, it does have chemicals in it and you never ever want to put this in your mouth. But look at this. It's like a little flubber.
Here you go.
Thank you. So should we put this in our bag, Sarah? You want to put this in our bag?
That's a
Well,
weird
we'll put
texture.
slime
I
number
will-
1 away.
I have a little bit more if you want.
Nope, you can hold on to it.
Okay, yay.
All right.
Alright.
And we will be back in just a moment to make slime number 2 after we
Wash your hands.
Yes.
wash our
So
hands.
before you make different types of slime, after you make one type of slime and you want to make a different type, make sure to wash your hands after this one.
Absolutely. All right, Sarah. So you ready for the second slime?
Yeah!
All right. This one is called glues. The last one was a simple slime. This one's glues. And we're gonna make this one with, what's this?
Milk.
Yeah, this is actually,
And a fact about milk is it has a chemical in it.
that's right. This is skim milk. And we are going to try and extract out something called casein, which is inside.
casein?
Casein is a chemical that's kind of like a polymer, which is the basis of making some plastics and what we're gonna use to make our slime.
Ooh. And I am still here.
And here's Hannah, our camera person again.
Hello.
So we have a couple of things. So we have 7 tablespoons of skim milk, 1 tablespoon of vinegar. We have some baking soda, an empty bowl, and a coffee filter. And to make it a color, we have some food coloring.
Which it really looks like
And we have a
red.
cute little tiny spoon
Oh,
for
what's
stirring.
a cup? What's a cup?
A cup of what?
She
Like,
means
what's
like
a
the
cup?
measurement.
A cup is a measurement. This is actually, if you filled this whole thing all the way up, that would be 1 cup. So the first thing we need to do is get the casein out of the milk. Can we just reach in and grab casein?
No.
No.
Okay.
But it would look pretty
But-
cool if you did.
If we pour the vinegar into the milk, so go ahead. The vinegar is, this is our chemistry. The vinegar is going to react with the milk and it's going to start separating out and create some solids. Let's see, we can stir this just a little bit. And some solids are going to be made and they're going to go to the bottom. And once they start forming, we will then be able to use
Oh, I
our
see
coffee
some.
filter
I think I see some.
and be able to get them out.
I think I see some.
Okay. Isn't it kind of funny? There's so many different ways to make slime.
Mm-hmm.
Chemistry is kind of cool that you can just mix things together and come up with something all new.
I think.
All right, let's try this. Let's see how this goes out. So we're gonna pour this mixture into the coffee filter.
Will it go straight through?
No, we're gonna see if we can help it along a little bit. I don't want to squeeze too hard.
You don't want.
'Cause that'll
milk
make
to
it pop.
get-
This is almost like a balloon, huh?
Yeah. And the milk is like the air.
Yeah.
And then if you squeeze the balloon
For
too
the
much,
third
and
time,
if you squeeze the balloon too much, it just pops.
and for the third time, the other slime had a really weird texture.
Yeah. I wonder if this one's gonna have a really weird texture.
Or if it's gonna have like a
It's
different.
definitely gonna be cold, huh? Oh no!
Oh boy!
We popped it again.
Oh no!
Yeah, the rest down
Do you
there.
want me to go
Let's
get?
see. Let's try this.
Do you want me to get you another?
We got some solids here. Maybe this isn't the best science experiment because we're kind of all over the place, but we're gonna try it. Let's put a drop of food coloring in there. Just one drop.
Exploded.
I think we're just gonna need one drop. Okay,
I did.
that's okay. Where's our little spoon? Here's our little spoon.
Here's this.
We got paper towels.
Here we go.
Alright, I'm
clean
gonna
up the
clean up
spout.
the mess we
That's a
made.
good idea.
Yeah, so we want a clean area.
So this one,
Because you don't want to get
it's a different kind of slime. I think we might have needed to wait for it to separate just a little bit more, but look at this. This is not like a playing slime,
It's more like
but look.
a goop,
Yeah, it's more like, you were right. It's like a
play
goopy
with it?
kind of slime,
like
huh?
its name.
Can we play with it?
You can touch it, yeah.
you
What do you think? How's it feel?
Ooh,
Alright.
it's liquid. Why can't we play? Why
Well, it's a
can't-
different kind of slime. But can you believe that was milk before?
Nope. Why is
Let's
it
see
different?
here.
kind?
So look, we try pouring it into here so we can see what it looks like. This reminds me of when I was a kid and they had a show called You Can't Do That on Television, and they poured slime on people's heads. This is what this one looks like, except that one was green, not yellow.
To me, this looks like an egg
Yeah, it kind of does, huh?
Without the yolk.
because of like the
Why would we
texture.
Look at
do this?
Because of like the texture
Look
and
at
the
this kinda
way it
slime.
looks.
This
Can
is
I
like,
try that? Can
yeah,
I try?
this is like slimy slime, huh?
Yeah. Or
It's
or
like a
I think.
liquid.
Hey, Daddy,
It's
I
a
think
liquid.
Goofy would like this one because it's goofy.
All right, are you ready to try our last slime?
Yeah.
All right,
Where are we going?
All
we're
right.
gonna go wash up and we'll be right back. All right, so slime number 3.
Yay!
So this one is actually a very special type of slime.
How?
This is a liquid. We're gonna make a liquid called a non-Newtonian fluid.
That's a lot.
Yeah, do you know what that means?
No.
So this is water, so this is a liquid, right?
It's
So
over here.
if we touch it and stir it, nothing really changes, right?
Yeah.
And
I bet we're gonna put this into that.
I think you're right. But what's interesting with a non-Newtonian fluid
Boy.
is that sometimes it acts like
Yeah.
water, and
Wait.
other times it acts like a solid. Meaning you can't put your finger in it.
And
And
it'll
it
go.
all depends on how hard or how soft you touch it. So,
Like this cup is a solid.
Yeah. because if you were to touch the water slowly, your finger will go in, and if you touch it really fast, your finger goes in. So nothing really changes.
No.
But once we put this into here, it's going to change. So do you know what this is? We know this is water.
Yeah.
This is 1 cup of water, and this is cornstarch.
Ooh, cornstarch.
And so this is 2 cups of cornstarch. And for fun, we're going to put a little bit of blue food coloring in, right? So let's put, say, 4 drops into the water.
Okay.
4. 1.
That was 2,
2.
3.
4.
Perfect. Okay.
Yay!
If you want to take the spoon and stir it a little bit,
That's actually really cool. That's actually
those are pretty cool, huh?
yeah, that was cool
Okay.
looking. I
So-
feel like we're making Easter
Now,
eggs
if
now.
you want to hold the spoon and put it in here, if you can put it in here, yep, and you're going to start stirring as I pour the water in.
Okay.
All right, you stir slowly because we don't want to make a big mess. But we are just going to pour the water into the fluid, or into this cornstarch.
That is a really pretty blue.
Yeah,
Dad, can you
I
start?
like that.
yep.
Oh, it's getting hard.
Yeah, it's going to get really, really hard to mix this unless you move slow. And that's what's really interesting with this type of slime. Being the non-Newtonian fluid, sometimes it'll feel like a rock,
Can I touch it?
and other times it'll feel like, here, let me finish mixing it, and then we're going to play with it. Because sometimes it'll feel like a rock, and you
Rock.
can barely move it, and other times it'll just feel like water.
Water.
So I'm going to pull this spoon out,
Ooh.
and I want to see if we can start. Yeah. So first thing I want you to do,
Roll
if we do this, can we see this a little better if we hold it like this?
Yeah,
So
I
the
can
first
see
thing I
it
want you
good.
to do is just put your finger like this and go in very slowly.
No.
Does it go all the way to the bottom?
Oh.
Do you feel it melting around your finger?
Yes.
Now,
It feels
I want you to
good.
try and pull your finger out.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
hard.
Now put your finger really fast. Does it feel like a rock?
Yes.
But then do it slowly. And it just melts right in.
It feels so weird.
And watch this.
The slime.
So now
Did I pick it up?
The slime.
put your hand all the way to the bottom and then try pulling it up really fast.
I can try.
And it's hard to do, right?
Yeah, it's hard. That's very
Oscar,
great.
why are you getting it all over me?
And look, if you hold it in your hand, watch. Look, do you see how it just melts in your hand? But if I squeeze it really hard,
Why is everyone doing
Look.
it on me?
do you see how? Let me see if I can get this on the camera. Here, pull your hands out. You can let your hands sit over this. We'll clean the mat. Here, pull your hand out for a second. You just let it drip right there. And pull your hand out for a second.
It just drips.
And you can let it drip right there. Now, I want to show the camera something. I'm going to try and get a handful of this. It's really hard to get a handful.
Because it's so
But
It's so
if we
hard.
grab a handful,
Sticking.
and you see how it's melting, but watch, if I squeeze it really hard, look, it crumbles in my hand. Do you see it crumbling?
can I
And then
try
it
that?
melts again. Yeah.
Can I try it?
Now try and grab a handful. It's really hard to grab a handful.
It is actually.
But now squeeze it. Do you feel it crumble in your hand?
This is what I got.
It feels like powder, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's
But then when you
really-
just let it go, what happens?
Let it go.
It just melts like ice cream, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But really quickly.
It just melts like ice
Why
cream.
is everyone getting
But then it
slime
turns
on
back
me?
into
Your turn.
a rock. Look at this.
Your turn.
All right.
Your
So
turn.
maybe we need to go clean up our hands,
No, I don't want.
and we'll come back and talk about
Aww.
the 3 different slimes. We'll be right back.
I wanna-
All right, Sarah. So how many slimes did we make?
3.
We made 3 different kinds of slime. So we made a simple slime. We made a
Goopy.
gloopy slime.
Gloopy.
And we made what's called oobleck.
Oobleck.
Do you
It's a
remember
weird word.
the scientific term I called it? It was a long word.
Oob.
It was
I remember. Oh, I remember.
non-Newtonian fluid.
It was called long word.
It was called long word. Good job, Hannah. So we made 3 slimes. Which one? So this one here, this green one. What do you like about this one?
Well, I really like the green color.
You like the color.
But
I like-
something weird about it is it has a weird texture. It
Yeah.
doesn't really move.
You can play with it, right? It's a fun one to play with.
I like the way that it like feels and like
Not
the
them.
way it like
Yeah.
is just the way.
So what about this slime?
I like it because you can like pour it into different cups and keep
Yeah.
going.
And it's kind of neat that you made it from milk, right?
Yeah, but I don't really like that it's liquid and you can't
Yeah.
really play with it.
Yeah, it didn't come out as slimy as we would have liked, huh?
Yeah.
So what about this one?
Well,
The
this
oobleck.
one I really like was like how it feels really weird. But something weird is it's really strong. Looks liquidy.
If
Yeah.
you like,
Like if you press it really hard, it does one thing, but if you touch it really slow, it does something different, right? 2 different kinds of slime almost.
Yeah.
So Hannah, which one was your favorite slime?
oh, that's really hard.
This one's
But-
really messy.
It would come between these two.
The green one and the blue one?
Yeah, I can't decide, but I like them both. They're just so hard.
Yeah.
They're just so hard.
Yeah. This one's probably the most playable, but you can do a lot of playing with that one too, huh?
My
That's
favorite
why-
is this blue one.
The
What's
blue
your
one?
favorite, Dad?
I think the blue one, I've always loved playing with oobleck
Oobleck.
because it's such a cool feeling on your hands. Like you can do so many
Yeah.
different things with it. It's just so crazy. Well, that was 3 ways to make
Slime.
slime. Thank you for watching this episode of
Science with Sarah.
And Dad. See you guys next time.
Slime.
Are you playing on me now?
Really? Put it on me, guys.
Put
Put it on me.
Sarah,
Take
put it
it
in your
off, take
hands
it off, take it
and
off.
try and squeeze it. Let's make a rock.
Oh, yay!
You got a big handful and squeeze. And look at this. Do you see it's turning into like a powder?
Oh, look at this.
And then just
Look, guys,
melts.
watch this. I actually got like a rock-ish.
Yep.
Ow.
Yeah, it kind of.
Like, pull.
Hard!
It's a rock and then it melts.